this is Summer Carnival 92 Recca, a shmup released for the Famicom back in July 17th in the summer of 1992. I know I sound a little bit nasally right now because I'm kind of recording as I'm sick, but I don't know. I felt like I wanted to make a video about this game for quite a while, especially since I've been playing it on an emulator on my phone, which is not really the best way to play this game. So, yeah. You can imagine how many times I messed up with touch controls and all that garbage. But anyways,
look at these amazing graphics that the NES can pull off, especially with good programming! You can tell that the game is so limit pushing that the NES can even handle all the sprites on the screen!
Mainly it's because it's too much for it. But here it is, still running, which is incredible. I could go on all day about talking about the amazing technical feat that this game does, but let's go on ahead and talk about the actual game itself. Anyway, after the usual company logos, we are greeted to the title screen, which only has 3 options: normal game, score attack, and time attack. Let's get both modes out of the way first, as they're not really there for more gameplay, but rather because this is a competition game, you know, this is pretty much who can rack up the most points in a set amount of time. That's what score attack is. Time attack, on the other hand, I genuinely don't know how that one works, because every time I would play the game and collect all the points, I would always get kicked out. So I don't know exactly how that's measured, but it's there if you want to show off your score. Anyway, enough about the sub modes. Now let's get on to the actual bulk of the game. The part where all you do is shoot things. With the help of special weapons, of course. Because what shoot 'em up isn't complete without some weapons or power-ups. For those who have been watching, you might have noticed how there's like this circle around my ship. That is the smart bomb. What's cool about that is that you can obliterate almost everything on the screen, and the best part is you can do it as many times as you want. Each of the weapons can be upgraded about 3 times, so make sure you choose wisely. Personally, I like to pick either the V or the L weapon. L, I'm assuming, means laser. I don't know what V means though, but yeah. Actually, let me correct myself. Because of the chaotic nature of this game, it doesn't matter what weapon you pick, because it will go through all the barrage of enemies like it's nothing, especially at max, which is what you do need to be careful with, because you will die a lot, and it's not fun, especially when you have like your level 1 weapon and you just keep on dying. The B shot does this sort of like powerful blasting shot thing. The F shot does an 8-way attack, which is useful when it gets all crowded and whatnot. The H attack is of course the homing attack, which is very useful in this game, and surprisingly very effective. The L shot is the laser shot, and what's cool about this one is that when you max it out, it does home in on enemies, which is honestly just a overall cool effect to see. Can I say there's any more I should say about this game? Well, yes, there is still more, but I'm just gonna say right away, the whole game is you just shooting a bunch of barrages of enemies, and also encountering the bosses, which there actually is quite a bit of bosses in this game, and that's where most of the fun is, especially when you're all maxed out and ready to go, if you're not dying all the time. Now the reason why I say most of the fun is in the bosses, because they all feature unique attacks, albeit there is repeats, but most of them you're gonna fight, they will surprise you. Some will annoy you, some will copy you, some are just unfair, but it can work. Oh, but be aware of this, there is no warning on when the bosses will actually show up. Your screen will just go black, and boom, you're in the boss fight. So whatever weapon you have, you gotta be prepared to fight him, because there's no going back. Well, of course, you might be asking, why does the screen go black? Well, here's what I think. Now, I'm not much of an expert of the hardware of the Famicom or the NES, but because the bosses are so big and screen-filling, they regulated them to the background layer. Therefore, it looks like they're one big sprite, but it's really just a background layer that they're just moving to look like as if it's like one big ship. And it's pretty convincing looking, if I'm gonna say so myself. Some other important thing that I have to mention about the controls in this game is you also have a speed meter. Now what that does is, well, I mean, it's a speed meter. I mean, what else is it supposed to do? You can control your speed, though I like to have it at 2. Actually, no, 3 is better, because 4 is way too much. So, yeah. In all honesty, there's not much I can really say about this game. It really is just, you know, you shoot things until you encounter a boss. So, I guess that means that is it with this game. That's Sunroom Carnival 92 Recca for you. Well, I guess that means I should just end the video here, because I don't want to be filler. So, see you laters.
Except that there's a sequel!
And the same cartridge? Believe it or not, yeah! So anyway, after you beat the super hard shooting game, this happens.
It's another boss you have to fight!
Well, if you wanted to, well, too bad, you can't fight him. But, here's what you can do instead. You go up to the console, press the reset button, and then you get to play the second part of the game! Oh boy, you know shit's serious when there's fire in the title screen! Oh, but that's not the only changes, because the game is even harder than before. You got meaner bosses, more hectic music, segments of the game that are almost near impossible to avoid dying, and enemies that don't give you a fucking break. How is anyone expected to play the whole thing without dying once? Jesus. Oh, but I never told you the worst part about this game. The final boss. I mean, of course you can't just easily reach him. You gotta go through tons of enemies, hard to avoid obstacles, and then that's when you reach him, because it's amping up for probably one of the best or worst final bosses ever in an NES game.
Alright, this is what we've all been waiting for, the final frickin' boss!
And oh boy, is he not playing around. He is literally throwing everything at you. So you need to have extra lives just to beat this guy. There's like literally no mercy in this fight. It's either you have to give him everything you got, or just lose. Just look how many times I've died. Okay, let's just cut to the chase and say we did beat the final boss. The monotony is over. Now all we can really do is sit down and rest and watch the credits roll. And just look back at the adventures that we had within this game. Or we can always check out the sound test to listen to this game's amazing soundtrack. In order to access the sound test in this game, we have to go put our cursor on time attack, and then you have to press select and start at the same time, And then this shows up. That's right. The female embodiment that is Recca-chan. And yes, that's what it actually says on that arrow. The screen is good alone just because it doesn't even fit with the entire game. I mean, you literally just saw what happened. Well, here it is. The sound test, where you can listen to the amazing host. So, that was Summer Carnival 92 Recca. But there was also another game that was released on July 17th of 1992. The 16-bit version, quote-unquote. Alongside the NES version, the other Summer Carnival game was called Owlsladick, a PC Engine CD game. While also using the Summer Carnival 92 banner, it is unfortunately not the same game. It is only meant for score competition purposes thing. You know, you get the idea. Oh, but that's not really a bad thing per se. It's actually good as its own right. It's just really short to really call it a full game. But you gotta admit, the music in this game is pretty amazing. Perhaps I'll make a video about Owlsladick one day, but this is about the NES version, which is the game that is really good, but extremely hard. And this is where I should end things. I've pretty much explained a lot in this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want more, Jay, I hope you click the subscribe button and you know, see what other stuff I have.